if we don't have this online all of the time showing people. And I remember the ID card came out in a relative's old address, and it was a picture of the same guy that stole my ID card on the East Coast in 2006. So we have proof that he did get an ID card in my name. That enables them to trick, you know, the databases. If someone were to look in the databases at all of the names and faces that are in the DMV database, his face would come up and they would think that he's my mother's like son, but he's not. We're not related. We don't know that person. But I remember after I ran away from the group home and I came back here, my grandmother's house was empty. The first time. So we know that the U.S. government pre-planned doing some of this. They probably figured, well, we'll just put this guy in a barrel of acid and we'll use his identity to infiltrate the Nazilowriders and the Sinaloa drug cartel. And nobody's going to know. Like, they could grow into the identity, and then the person who does not look like this person, who also got an ID card in this guy's name, can go around and use his Mafia crew to wipe out his family. But we knew they didn't know everything because, I mean, they didn't know about the other Nazi lowriders. And they didn't have enough information on the cartel. So I think that at some point they got to me, like the government and the military got to me, and they drugged me and brainwashed me, and they tried to get as much information out of me as they could so that the guy that looks like me who's in the military could successfully pretend to be me to the cartel and to the Nazi lowriders in Southern California. But we have a lot of evidence now to prove all of these statements. So again, in 2006, when I was passing through a town on the way back here, on the East Coast, I was threatened by somebody in a Mafia organization, and he threatened to cut my nose and my head off, and said, well, we're gonna cut your nose and your head off so you can't prove who you are. And then he was out here showing everybody a picture of a barrel of acid with somebody dissolving in it inside of a gel system that he worked at. And he kept my ID, so the point of this documentary video is to show everybody the proof and the evidence, and show everybody what kinds of things that I've encountered and what my family has gone through because of this since 2006, to show the lies and the defamations against us, and to show everyone that we are victims, but we are in the right about this, and no one should have to experience something like that. No one should have to go through something like that. And the reason that they did it, I think, is because prior to that, I had witnessed something where my relative had been stationed in the military on the East Coast, and I believe that it's directly connected. So I will show what evidence is at hand and proof, and I will show, of course, what we come from and what we're made of, and this documentary will serve its purpose. It will show everybody the truth. Thank you.
My great-grandmother was Georgia Hiawatha Jennings. She's the only person in the world with this name. It is very unique. Her and her family came from Oklahoma to California in the Dust Bowl. Her name is mentioned in several books. Any other records about her are fraudulent. This makes me a third-generation Californian on this bloodline. And on my other bloodlines, this makes me a 5 or more generation Californian. She's buried in the East Bakersfield Cemetery in California. And this is where I will be buried. I will not be buried anywhere else.
So in 2007, this was the land center right here where I saw my U.S. military doppelganger. And everybody in the land center is actually a witness to that. I saw my U.S. military doppelganger right here at this location in 2007. And before that, I saw him out on the East Coast near a military base where my relative was stationed in the military. As I explained before, they were trying to set me up out there too, and I narrowly escaped and got back here. But then I saw this U.S. military doppelganger right here at this land center in Oildale, California. And everybody asked me if I was in the military, and I kept telling them no, but I just started to roll with it after that to see what was going to happen. And this was before the Hells Angels came back into town. But it doesn't really matter because the NLR has a traditional alliance with the Hells Angels. We do not fraternize with or mix blood with the Afro. We don't even communicate with the Afro. We don't even speak to the Afro. We do not fraternize with or mix blood with the Arab. We do not fraternize with or mix blood with the Italian. We do not fraternize with or mix blood with the Irish. We do not communicate with, fraternize with, or mix blood with the Latino. We do not communicate with, fraternize with, or mix blood with the Slavic. The Slavic are the Eastern Europeans, the Russians, and the Greeks, and anybody descended from them. With the Sinaloa cartel, and we are very much in with Sinaloa. If you're a weirdo, don't come anywhere near us because we will have you dealt with. So again, you know, you won't see me at a football game or a baseball game or a hockey game or anything like that. You won't see me at a party. You won't see me at a bar or a pub because I don't go to those things. I don't do stuff like that. I never have. I would appreciate it if you just don't even talk to me or even look at me for that matter. Please don't make it look like I'm interested. Because I'm not gonna come looking. I don't give a shit. Don't make it look like I'm doing something that I'm not doing. I don't give a shit. Just like turn the other way, go away. Please don't come near me or my family. Don't come near any of our children. Don't come near any of our kids. Again, don't make it look like any of us are interested because we're not. We don't care. I don't care. Don't include my information or my name in anything that you do. Whoever, like, this is addressed to, like, everybody. Thank you. So again, we don't go around fucking with people, but if you fuck with us, we're gonna fuck with you back. You don't know the struggles or the hardships of the NLR in Southern California. At the beginning of it, it wasn't even about drugs. It was actually about resistance from the oppression of the corrupt cops and the corrupt government. So what I'm going to do in this video is I am going to prove now irrefutably, as well as irrefutably socially, as well as without a reasonable doubt in the legal system, that I don't use any drugs, and I never have used any drugs in my entire life up until this exact point in time, and I won't do any drugs in the future either. So this means that I don't use any drugs, and it means that I don't use needles. So I don't use needles, and I never have used needles. I don't poke myself with needles, and I don't engage in risky behavior. So because I don't consume drugs at all in any way whatsoever in the past, as well as in the future, this means that no one is going to be able to do something to me and then lie later on and say that it's because of drugs or drug use. Well, I've seen things before. I've seen people killed with a needle full of air, and they lied later on and said that they died of a heart attack. And some of these people were drug users, and they put the needle with air into the same hole that they shot their drugs up in to make it look like they died of a heart attack, because it wasn't on record that they used drugs. So we're gonna squash this right now, and I'm gonna make it to where nobody can lie about me and say that I'm a drug user, because I'm not. If I was a drug user, I would have needles in my arms and in my body, and I don't. Also, I don't smoke dope, and I don't smoke drugs of any kind. So thank you. Well, with this enemy that we're up against, my family and I. We fight